Good morning, students. Welcome back. Hope you are all safe and sound. In today's session, I would like to give you a recap of everything done so far. To start with, I start with factors of production. This is the first unit of your book, and in this unit, we have done meaning of production with all the things which are being required in the transformation of raw material to final good. The various factors which we need to have production, known as factor inputs, are being discussed into four parts: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. During our classes, we discussed about meaning of land, features of land, how land is to be called as a peculiar factor of production. Labor, meaning of labor, various features of labor, how labor is an only active factor of production, labor is perishable, supply of labor is a backward bending supply curve. Along with this, we discussed about division of labor, that is, how to divide labor as per your specialization, as per your talents, professional skills, experience, qualification, and why it is important nowadays for modern productive mechanism. Third most important factor of production was capital. All man-made goods which are required for further production and to generate income with its types, importance, capital formation, various stages of capital formation. They are origination, they are that to create savings, mobilize savings, and last is the stage of real investment was being covered. Then we discussed about role of an entrepreneur, that is how he is capable to take all type of risk and uncertainty in the production process. This is what we discussed in our extra classes in school only. During this pandemic lockdown period, I picked up the unit public finance. And in public finance, we discussed about its meaning, about its scope, and why the subject of public finance is important for a country like India. What do we mean by public finance? Public finance is that branch of economics which deals with two major things. And what are those two major things? Income and expenditure. That is how to generate income to meet all kind of expenditure. So in the subject public finance, what do we discuss? We discuss various sources through which it is possible for an economy to generate income, and finally I need to make a plan to incur expenditure on various channels so that the ultimate objective of an economy can be achieved. I hope you all know what is an economy ultimate aim: to have maximum social advantage. This was all done in public finance. After this, we discussed various chapters, various sources through which it is possible for an economy to generate income. The first was public revenue. We discussed taxes and non-tax revenue. Taxes is what? Taxes is a compulsory payment which we all have to pay. It is to be taken as a legal payment. It is to be taken as a liability. And various type of taxes, that is direct tax, indirect tax. Direct tax is tax on income. Indirect tax is tax on commodity. What are their merits? What are their demerits? And for the development of an economy, we need to have both. because we considered that direct tax and indirect taxes are two sisters which never fight. Other type of taxes: progressive tax, regressive tax, degressive tax, and proportional tax. With this, we discussed about Indian taxation structure. Indian taxation structure is based upon direct tax, that is tax on income, is based upon degressive, that is a combination of proportional plus progressive, and indirect tax, tax on commodity, is regressive in nature. Then we move to non-tax revenue. Under non-tax revenue, we discussed about all the sources of commercial revenue and administrative revenue. What are they? Commercial revenue: by selling goods through government departmental stores, how the government generate income, that is your railway, post and telegraph, irrigation, stamps. So all these things are available only in government departments. So the revenue which is generated by selling goods, that is covered under commercial revenue. Then there comes administrative revenue. Under administrative revenue, students, what did we do? All the income government generated through government rules and regulations, that is in the form of licensing, in the form of you can say forfeiture, escheat, fee, fines. So these are all your administrative revenue. After this, we covered a chapter, public debt. In case government fails to generate sufficient income through taxes and non-tax revenue, then to meet out various expenditure, we are here in need of borrowings, which we studied in the chapter public debt. Public debt nowadays is considered as a regular source of income. It can be internal, it can be external, it can be used for a productive purpose as well as non-productive purpose. But what was the thing to be taken care of? That if the borrowings are being raised through external sources, it has to be used for productive purposes only. What is the productive purpose? That you are able to generate income from that expenditure, plus it is possible for you to give that money back from where it has been borrowed. Then next, under public debt, we discussed various sources. We can see that nowadays the extent of public debt is increasing day by day, year by year. So what are our reasons to have a rise in this growth for a developing country like India, along with suggestions? To conclude, in public finance, the last chapter covered was public expenditure. Public expenditure, as I told you earlier, that in a subject public finance, we deal only two things: income and expenditure. How to generate income, that is a one thing. And then second thing, how to allocate my income among different departments, among different sectors, so that we are here to have optimum utilization of all available resources. So in this chapter, public expenditure, we discuss about its meaning as well as various types. Like government sometimes has to do not only productive expenditure, but at present, if you can see during this COVID-19, the expenditure which is being generated, which is being done by government, we are not going to generate any income out of that. So it is to be called as unproductive expenditure. But it is must for a democratic country like India to provide food, to provide welfare to each and every citizen of a country. So under public expenditure, we can have productive expenditure, unproductive expenditure, developmental expenditure, non-developmental expenditure, and like this it can be revenue expenditure, capital expenditure. The most important thing in public expenditure is to reduce its extent. Suggestions that why expenditure is increasing and how to control it. So we are here to provide various suggestions to control public expenditure. This all was being done in public finance, and with this we did various worksheets, we did questions, and I hope you were all able to find out answers for the questions given in worksheets. The next unit which was being done, that was money. The next chapter unit is money and banking, and we did money. Under this chapter, first thing which we covered, that was your barter system, known as CC economy also. What is this CC economy? Where goods are being exchanged for goods. If you remember, we did 5 difficulties of barter system: double coincidence of wants, lack of standard of deferred payments, lack of measure of value, there is no possibility to store, and it is not even possible to have a unit of account. Just checking out these challenges of barter system, there was a need to have evolution of money. Different timings we have metallic money, commodity money, but over and above, now we are living in the age of paper money. What is this paper money which is being used as a medium of exchange, right? And what is this money? Money is nothing. We, whatever the law of a country, whatever is being declared by the legal system of a country, that has to be accepted as a money. So money is a legal tender. As a legal tender, what we have seen, that in India, I am talking about Indian monetary system, we have a dual monetary system, like it is to be issued by Government of India as well as central bank. Who is our central bank? That is RBI. So the money which is issued by the Government of India is known as limited legal tender money, and the money issued by RBI is considered as unlimited legal tender money. We did various functions of money divided into 3 parts: primary function, secondary function, and contingent functions. This was a recap of whatever we did so far. I hope it was all clear. Thank you. Take care.